The Atlantic awakens. Hurricane season officially heats up with concerning developments. After an unusually quiet start to the hurricane season, the Atlantic Ocean is finally responding with unmistakable signs of activity. As we step into the peak of the season, tropical systems are beginning to stir, from off the coast of West Africa to the warm waters just off the southeastern U.S. Tropical storm Dexter, which formed overnight, marked the season's official turning point, though the storm is now drifting northward into the open Atlantic with no immediate threat to land. Its presence sends a clear message: the hurricane season is no longer dormant. As Tropical Storm Dexter races out to sea away from the United States, hurricane forecasters August 4 were watching two other areas of potential concern in the Atlantic, which, if they form, could be named Erin and Fernand. 1. A tropical wave that's just recently moved off the coast of Africa could develop into a named storm in the central Atlantic by later in the week. Some forecast models show the second is a developing area of low pressure much closer to home, off the southeast U.S. coast, a system that promises a dreary week of weather for hordes of beachgoers. Wave disturbance near the U.S. southeast coast. Weak but worth watching. Just off the coasts of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, a stalled frontal boundary has lingered for several days, combined with high humidity and abnormally warm sea surface temperatures, ranging from 29 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius. This boundary is starting to organize into a potentially tropical system. Top forecasting models, including the GFS and ECMWF, suggest a weak tropical depression could form within the next 72 hours, with the potential to make landfall by the end of the week. Most likely in the Carolinas or coastal Virginia. Although not expected to be a strong storm, the system could bring widespread heavy rainfall to already saturated ground, raising concerns over flash flooding, urban inundation, and potential landslides in vulnerable regions. A storm doesn't need to be powerful to be dangerous. In fact, slow-moving, moisture-laden systems often cause the most damage, especially when the ground is already wet. Cyclone tropical tug-of-war. Two waves. One race for dominance. Farther east, deep in the Atlantic's main development region, MDR, an area notorious for birthing powerful hurricanes, two tropical waves are jockeying for attention. Magnifying glass. Two key players. 1. The first wave, promising start. Uncertain future. Currently given a 50% chance of development within the next 7 days. However, ECMWF shows a disorganized structure, susceptible to wind shear or being pulled out to sea by upper-level dynamics. Should it survive, the wave may enter the western Atlantic but with limited strength. 2. The second wave, the dark horse. Environmental conditions are far more favorable. Warm waters, 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. Widespread atmospheric moisture. Minimal vertical wind shear. ECMWF simulations project the second wave could become a major hurricane, Category 3 to 4, possibly affecting the Lesser Antilles, parts of the Caribbean, Cuba, or even approaching the southeastern U.S. within the next 10 to 15 days. While the first wave might simply pave the way, the second could very well become the main event of the season. Warning: environmental conditions. The door is open for rapid development. Several key environmental indicators are now aligning in favor of tropical development. Sea surface temperatures are well above normal, particularly across the western Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico, both hovering around 30 to 31 degrees Celsius, providing ideal fuel for storm intensification. The presence of an upper-level anticyclone, ULAC, creates favorable ventilation above developing storms, allowing them to breathe effectively and sustain strong updrafts. Forecast models also hint at a train of waves trailing behind, potentially leading to a series of tropical systems forming over the next 2 weeks. Pushpin: staying ahead. Timely updates can prevent panic. While no storm currently poses an immediate threat to the U.S. mainland, forecasters emphasize the importance of close monitoring and early preparation. Residents from Texas to the Carolinas are advised to follow updates from the National Hurricane Center, NHC, and avoid relying solely on viral model images circulating online. Tropical systems can intensify very rapidly, sometimes within just 24 to 48 hours. Under the right conditions, having basic supplies on hand, such as water, flashlights, batteries, and first aid kits, is a smart precaution. Regardless of forecast strength, a storm doesn't have to be catastrophic to be disruptive. All it takes is the right location, the right timing, and the right environmental trigger, and you have a system capable of becoming a serious threat. As of today, attention is sharply focused on 3 key zones. The near-shore waters of the southeastern United States, where a tropical depression may soon form. The Central Atlantic's MDR, where multiple tropical waves are emerging. The Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico, regions with a long history of hosting some of the most dangerous storms on record. Prolonged impact. Canadian wildfires prompt air quality warnings for Midwest, Northeast. Forecasters say relatively weak winds have left Canadian wildfire smoke to linger over the U.S. Stronger winds are expected to bring relief later in the week. Wildfires burning out of control in Canada are leaving a trail of smoke across the northern United States and prompting local authorities to issue health warnings for millions of people due to poor air quality. Blazes raging in the Canadian provinces of Saskatchewan and Manitoba are creating poor conditions in the Midwest and Northeast. The National Weather Service said on August 4, officials from Minnesota to Maine have issued air quality alerts. According to the Storm Prediction Center, the impact from the fires isn't as dramatic as the wildfires of 2023 that left New York City blanketed in a moonglow orange. But weak winds have left the smoke to linger over the northern United States for days, said Dan Cornish, a forecaster with the National Weather Service in Michigan. We're definitely seeing prolonged impact. We've had several days of hazy skies, Cornish told USA Today, adding the horizon outside the Weather Service office in Gaylord, Michigan, has been a milky gray for days. Unfortunately, that's just going to continue to deteriorate air quality across much of this area. Storm Prediction Center alert maps show blanket air quality warnings for the states of Michigan, Wisconsin, New York, and the New England region. Stronger winds aren't expected to blow the smoke until August 6 or August 7 for the Midwest. Cornish said, conditions in the Northeast will likely improve by the end of the week. According to the forecaster, authorities recommend limiting outdoor activity in the areas impacted by smoke from Canadian wildfires. Children, older adults, and people suffering from respiratory conditions, including asthma, are particularly vulnerable to the fine particulate matter small enough to be inhaled that is the toxic byproduct of wildfires. Environmental officials warned, where are the wildfires in Canada? The worst of the blazes impacting the United States are burning in the provinces of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Western Ontario. According to the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre, most of the Canadian blazes are sparked by lightning in dry, remote forested areas that are difficult for firefighters to access except by aircraft. According to Cornish, you get a lot of wildfires that can start up in those conditions. And it's a challenge, but that's the nature of it. Quite literally, Cornish said, there's nothing you can do to prevent it. What cities are the worst off? The blazes have catapulted major American and Canadian cities into the most polluted places in the world. According to a global air quality index maintained by IQ-Air, a Swiss-based air quality monitoring company, Detroit, Minneapolis, and Toronto were among the top 11 most polluted cities in the world on the evening of August 4. According to IQ-Air, New York City and Montreal were among the top 20 most polluted cities. According to the global index. Thank you for tuning in to today's special report. In the coming days, tropical activity will likely continue ramping up. Our team will keep a close watch on model trends, satellite data, and updates from the NHC to bring you clear, verified, and timely information. Wishing you a safe and peaceful week ahead. We'll see you back here tomorrow with the latest updates.